300 years before the birth of Christ, in the heart of ancient India, there lived a man who had no army, no kingdom, no throne, no wealth, just a brilliant, restless, dangerous mind. And with that mind alone, he built the greatest empire the Indian subcontinent had ever seen. His name was Chanakya, scholar, philosopher, strategist, kingmaker, and the author of one of the most powerful books on power, wisdom, and human nature ever written, the Arthashastra. Chanakya grew up as a student at Takshashila, the Oxford of the ancient world. He studied everything: economics, politics, military strategy, psychology, philosophy, law. While other students memorized texts, Chanakya questioned them. While others accepted what they were taught, Chanakya asked why. His teachers quickly realized this was not an ordinary student. This was a mind that would either save India or terrify it. As it turned out, it did both. The moment that changed everything came when Chanakya stood before the Nanda King. Alexander the Great was advancing. His armies had already conquered Persia, Egypt, and Afghanistan. India was next. Chanakya came to the court with a plan, a political and military strategy to unite the fragmented Indian kingdoms against the invasion. The Nanda King laughed at him. "Who are you?" the king sneered. "A thin Brahmin with crooked teeth and wild hair coming to tell me how to rule my empire?" He ordered his guards to drag Chanakya out of the court. As Chanakya was thrown from the palace doors, he stood up slowly, brushed the dust from his robe, and made a vow. Not a vow of revenge, a vow of purpose. "I will not tie my hair," he said quietly, "until I have destroyed the Nanda dynasty and built a new empire in its place." He left the palace with nothing and set about changing the course of Indian history. Chanakya walked for weeks through villages and forests, looking for something specific. Not gold, not weapons, not allies. A leader. He found him in a small village, a boy named Chandragupta, perhaps 14 years old, playing a game with other children. But even in play, Chandragupta was different. He organized the other children like troops. He made decisions quickly. He adapted when things went wrong. He led not by shouting, but by thinking one move ahead of everyone else. Chanakya stood at the edge of the village and watched for a long time. Then he walked forward. "Come with me," he said to the boy. "I am going to make you the emperor of India." Chandragupta looked at the strange thin man with burning eyes, and somehow he believed him. For years, Chanakya trained Chandragupta, not just in sword fighting and military tactics, in everything. "A king who does not know economics," Chanakya said, "will be robbed by his own ministers. A king who does not understand psychology will be manipulated by his own allies. A king who cannot control his own desires will be destroyed not by his enemies but by himself." Chanakya taught him the 3 pillars of true power: Shakti, strength, not just physical strength, but the strength of character and discipline; Mitra, alliance, know who your true friends are and protect them fiercely; Niti, strategy, never react from emotion, always think 3 steps ahead. Chandragupta absorbed every lesson like dry earth absorbs rain. What followed was one of the most brilliant political and military campaigns in human history. Chanakya did not simply attack the Nanda Empire with force. He dismantled it from the inside. He turned the Nanda King's own generals against each other. He exposed corrupt ministers and replaced them quietly with loyal allies. He formed strategic partnerships with smaller kingdoms who feared the Nanda power. He cut off supply lines before a single battle began. Chanakya understood something most military commanders never grasped. The best victory, he wrote in the Arthashastra, is the one where your enemy is already defeated before he realizes the battle has begun. He played the game of power not on the battlefield, but in the minds of men, and he played it better than anyone who had ever lived. The Nanda dynasty fell. Chandragupta Maurya was crowned emperor-ruler of the largest empire India had ever known, stretching from modern-day Afghanistan to Bengal, from the Himalayas to the Deccan Plateau. At the coronation, ministers and generals celebrated loudly, feasting, cheering, claiming credit for the victory. Chanakya stood quietly at the back of the hall. He had kept his vow. He tied his hair, the same hair he had left untied since the day the Nanda king threw him from the palace. He watched Chandragupta on the throne and felt not triumph, simply completion. After the empire was built, Chanakya did not ask for gold or land or a palace. He lived simply. He wrote, He recorded everything he knew about power, strategy, economics, human nature, and wisdom in 2 great works: the Arthashastra, a complete manual on statecraft, economics, and military strategy so advanced that modern scholars still study it today, and Chanakya Niti, a collection of practical wisdom about life, relationships, character, and success that remains one of the most widely read books in India 2,000 years after it was written. He wrote, "Before you start some work, always ask yourself 3 questions. Why am I doing this? What might the results be? Will I be successful? Only when you think deeply and find satisfactory answers, proceed." He wrote, "The fragrance of flowers spreads only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of a person spreads in all directions." He wrote, "A person should not be too honest. Straight trees are cut first, and honest people are screwed first." Not cynicism, wisdom, hard-earned, battle-tested, real. Chanakya never wanted to rule. He wanted to build something that would last, and long after the Maurya Empire itself faded into history, his ideas survived. His strategy, his wisdom, his uncompromising understanding of how the world actually works. Chanakya teaches us something that is as true today as it was 300 years before Christ. Power is not given. It is built slowly, deliberately, with patience and strategy and an unbreakable will. Your greatest weapon is not your strength, it is your mind. Know your goal, study your obstacles, build your alliances, think 3 moves ahead, and never, never let anyone humiliate you into giving up. The Nanda King threw Chanakya out of his palace. Chanakya built an empire. The king is forgotten. Chanakya lives forever.